Notts County Talk. We are live with our preview as it's England versus Czech Republic, and I've got the teams right. I've introed the video and got the teams right. We're joined by Holly, a regular on the channel. Holly, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Quite a big game, I think, really, after the game on Friday. What did you make of that, the Scotland game?
I just thought we looked a bit flat going forward. I don't know if Scotland were just a bit more hungrier than England, but they looked like much the better side. I don't know if that was just because we didn't play well and they did, because I don't think England were anywhere near up to the standard they should have been at. But I just felt it was a game that was so hyped, it just lacked a lot, especially energy going forward.
It'd literally been built up for weeks. Even before we were playing Croatia, people were still talking about the game after that against Scotland. And it's like, when you get these games, we've just been talking about the National League playoff final. And actually, it's nice to have a big game, a big game for them that is actually lived up to it. Because you get so many games. Europa League final was terrible. When they're hyped up, they never, ever live up to that, I don't think.
Yeah,
it just wasn't. I think if Stones had scored, I still believe if Stones scored, England would have gone on to win that 2 or 3-0, maybe even 4-0.
I agree. Turned tide of the game completely, I think.
Yeah, it did. Were you surprised by Scotland, George, in how they came out, or were you more disappointed with England?
I'm more disappointed with England. I think as much as I'm not the most, should I say, Southgate in England fan there is, that team that was on the pitch should be able to beat Scotland. Like, there's no two ways about it. There's quality there. I think every Notts fan as well, and probably a lot of England fans, are screaming for Grealish to come on. He comes on, but brings him off for, in my opinion, the best player on the pitch in Foden. It just doesn't make sense. It's just frustrating. The first game was good. We played really well. We had a great opening 20 minutes. We win 1-0. So it's sort of brushing the carpet a little bit. But I feel like against Scotland, a team that were proper up for it, because it's a big game for Scotland, isn't it? It's always been a big game, England versus Scotland. I just think we should have been a little bit more professional and direct with the way we were playing. It was just so, let's not make a mistake instead of let's show this team what we can do. It was terrible to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You know what, though? At the end of the day, I don't know how many teams actually win a tournament winning every single game. I don't know how many do that. And I actually, the more I reflect on it, I'm not that bothered we didn't win that game. As long as we didn't lose, you get it out of the way. You get that game that could have been a million skin out of the way, kept a clean sheet, which we'll talk about later when we go on to to choosing our team, kept a clean sheet, and practically, bar a miracle, bar a disaster for England, we'll be out of the tournament. So we're still in there. We haven't. I'm a big believer in like all these runs that people go on and thinking that things will end soon. So to win every game will be almost impossible. We've got a few questions coming in. We've got this one asking if Southgate and already completed the same coaching course. Plenty of exciting attacking players and play defensively. That's sort of what you're saying, George. Holly, can you see comparisons with that? Because it's a pretty fair comment.
I can, but when England play it across the back a lot, instead of kind of going forward or making those runs that are direct, like Grealish does, I can see that, and it's very much recycling the ball and keeping it safe instead of kind of going for it like Scotland were. So I can see the comparison, but it felt like two completely different games from the Croatia game. Like, it felt like we kind of lost the spark. I don't know if Scotland just kind of took it out of us, but it didn't feel like the same kind of team or like the kind of energy they had.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Another one, George from Aaron, says that there's no plan B. What do you reckon to that?
Yeah, I agree. I think you look at the bench, there's 6 or 7 plan Bs. You know what I mean? Like, Sancho's on the bench, he's not being played. Grealish has not started a game yet. I know he's come on as a sub, but I feel like you need to... It's completely baffling. And I don't want to go into the Southgate situation too much, but I'll say this about it. When you look at his track record leading up to the England job, it's not great. Like, he was at Middlesbrough for, was it 3 seasons? And I think he never finished above like 14th. and he got relegated in one of those seasons.
So you're Southgate out then, basically.
Yeah.
You're gonna look daft if England bring it.
Yeah, no, I want him to put me right and prove me wrong and all that sort of stuff. But it just seems blindingly obvious. Like after the game, Ian Wright was saying you've got Jadon Sancho, who's got, I think it's 20 assists and 16 goals, if I'm right, this season for Dortmund, just sitting on the bench doing nothing. And you're sort of thinking, as well, Man U are willing to pay 100 million for him, but Southgate's thinking he's not going to be able to change this game, so I'm going to keep him on the bench. Like, I don't understand how blindingly obvious it is to what seems to be most England fans. Is not that obvious to Southgate. But
am I wrong in this? Was Sancho not even on the bench for the Croatia game? I think it was him and Chilwell that didn't make the bench.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
which is mad, absolutely mad. We're talking about players coming in. Aaron again says Kane and Sterling need dropping.
I think I agree, wholeheartedly agree with that. I think Kane needs dropping. He's not. Yeah, I think he's got. There's a lot going on at Tottenham at the minute, isn't there? They can't get a manager up because he's probably looking like he's leaving. So Kane's just not in any fine form at all. Sterling's decision making in the final third is questionable. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but against Scotland, it wasn't great. And I just think Calvert-Lewin is itching to sort of start a game, isn't he? And he's a fantastic player. And Grealish, we've already gave our opinion on Grealish, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think as well with Kane, when we had him in the World Cup, he just looked like a different sort of player. Like, he always looked like he wanted to score. It just doesn't look, not that he doesn't want to be there, it's just he doesn't have that kind of, doesn't carry himself well on the pitch at the moment, and it doesn't seem like he's confident in himself. And when he kind of got subbed off, I kind of thought that's the right decision. But as your captain, you should never really be taking off your captain in any situation unless they're injured. They should be like leading from the front and kind of pushing everyone else forward. But he doesn't seem to have that authority on the pitch at the moment.
It's just sitting far too deep, I think, for a number 9.
Yeah, I saw Rio Ferdinand said about it though that he doesn't even look like he's got. Maybe it's the way he plays, but he doesn't look like he's ever really pushed it in this Euro so far. Like he's never. I haven't seen him make any massive sprints. I haven't seen him sprint forward from. When he drops deep, let's be honest, he does keep the play ticking over. He's okay dropping deep, but then when it needs to be, he's not in the box. So I would say I would like to see Calvert-Lewin start just purely because of how high he's been jumping in the friendlies. Like,
didn't he break the record or something?
I don't know. Have you seen him? He's going over the top of players. Yeah. You can't tell me, Ollie, if you're playing centre back, you know someone's come on the pitch that's jumping 2 foot higher than you are. You're scared, aren't you?
This is the thing, though. You put Grealish and Calvert-Lewin on the same pitch, right? You're getting free kicks in great positions, and you've got Calvert-Lewin on the end of those set pieces. So for me, it's just parts of the puzzle that fit together so well.
For me, that's why we should have taken Ward-Prowse. Grealish on to get the free kicks, Ward-Prowse to take the free kicks.
We've said it before.
And if that's not tactically better than Southgate, I don't know what is. But I'll reserve judgment till after this game because, like I said, it was a very strange game. Like everyone building it up, and it was always going to be odd. So, yeah, I just don't know. I think it's an anomaly, and we've seen not this season games that have been built up have been just terrible, like the Chesterfield game at home, awful. So, right, let's go on to who England could face then, because we've seen everyone play now twice, some people 3 times. We've just watched. I've just watched Italy-Wales. I don't know if anyone saw any of that. Yeah. Talking of Plan Bs, they have a Plan B, C, D. They're changing formation mid-game. They've not conceded. They don't look like conceding bar 1 chance. It's just.
They're very exciting to watch.
They are.
Italy.
They're very.
I don't know. They are. I agree, but I just feel like they've not really faced anyone of any. Like everyone keeps going on about how this unbeaten run that they're on at the minute. A, I know Tom, you always say these unbeaten runs have got to end, and I think they probably will in the Euros. And B, they've not really come up against any fantastic side, so it looks a lot better than it is in my opinion.
Yeah, but to say that, I actually would say Wales are on par with England at the minute. I think they have. Yeah. I think Wales are a good team. Aaron Ramsey, we forget because he's not playing England. Aaron Ramsey's class, absolutely class. Gareth Bale, he's still a very, very good player.
Yeah, I think they're good. I wouldn't say they're on par with England though. I think we've got more options than Wales.
I think based on what we did the other day, I think.
Oh yeah, I agree. Based on the other day, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. But based on our talent that we've got all together, we should be miles ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly. Just like Scotland with the third lowest ranked team in the tournament. I can't think of who would be lower other than North Macedonia, maybe Slovakia. But
Russia?
That says it all, doesn't it? Chris is saying here, if this is reference to me, I thought Turkey were dark horse. I did say Turkey we're gonna do well in this tournament, but I was.
What did I say?
Czech Republic. But I was obviously joking. Dear. I was joking about Turkey. I knew they wouldn't win the game.
Yilmaz.
I'm back in Slovakia now. I like look at Slovakia with Hamšík in there. Good player. But going back to teams we could play. Group of death, obviously, if we win the group. Holly, there's a lot of people saying they'd rather finish second and avoid some of those massive teams. What's your thoughts on that?
I said this as well, and I don't want us to aim to finish second, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think that's anything a team should ever do. I think you should always aim to finish the highest possible place you can do. But it does look like the more straightforward route. But then again, we all said this, and we played Iceland, and we lost. So I just want England to play with confidence, and if that confidence comes from finishing group top and beating Czech Republic and solid result, going into a game against a team that's very good, I think, yeah, fair enough. And I think England, if England come against a team like France, Germany, Portugal, they will step up. Like, I know that's like a cliche, but I think they're very much like not Spurs this season. They do better against teams that are better. No offense to like Scotland, Croatia, etc. But I feel like we will kind of have to play it out like on our edge and like 100% the whole game. And I think you'll see a different England side if you do play a team like that.
Yeah, I agree. And also, it just shows what Scotland were celebrating a 0-0 draw like they won the tournament. That shows the level of team. I'm not having a dig here. Well, I'm having a dig here because I was quite, and I wasn't happy with
some of the scenes before as well. Oh my. And after, to be fair, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, it just shows... I mean, they can celebrate their draw, and they'll say they'll never forget it, but honestly, they could finish the tournament without being able to celebrate a goal, and right now, that would mean so much to me. But
you're right about Souness, though.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. He's just under my skin on Friday. Yeah.
All right, we'll keep going away from this. Teams we could play. So, that group of death, who in that group of death properly scares you?
France.
Yeah, France scare me. Portugal don't. I don't know why.
Do you know what? I think we can beat all of them. I do. Hungary have just drew with France. Germany Germany aren't the team they used to be.
Germany looked very good.
Without Portugal's help yesterday, it was 2-2.
Yeah. I feel like we'll see how the Czech Republic game goes, because based on that Scotland game, I don't think we can beat anyone after that.
Just say we can beat them all. Oh, honestly.
We can. I genuinely think we can. Why not?
Right, so you're on
the side. I've gone.
So you'll be happy. Now. You'll be happy facing any of them.
Yeah, I'd be well happy. Yeah, I think to win a competition, you've got to beat the best. So what's the point in thinking let's finish second and get an easy route? Because we did that in the World Cup and we lost to Croatia in the semi-final. Croatia.
Yeah, I suppose so. So you play any of those? I mean, technically, it's looking like if we were to win the group, it would probably be Germany, maybe. Or is it all down to the final match? Germany, France. I don't know. I've lost track.
I'm not sure. I think at least if I do the preview for that game, I can't get it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Who else? So we could play them. Throughout the tournament, let's just go away from who we could play and just think of the tournament as a whole. Italy, they're we've already spoken about them. Spain don't frighten me.
Missing sitters, aren't they?
You can have 950 passes if you want, but if you can't win a game, forget it. They're in transition. I don't think they're. No one's expecting them to win the tournament. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's a funny tournament, really, isn't it? Because you're looking at what you just said about who we could possibly play in our next round after the group stages. I feel like it's one of those where if it goes the way it should do, it could be decided quite early, couldn't it? Really, to a degree. I mean, obviously football is football, isn't it? But you're sort of going into the competition, you're thinking France probably going to do it. They've got the best side. I mean, you should be thinking England should be doing fairly well, but it's just the way they're being set up. I think.
Like you say, though, the French should probably start doing their match preview like we're doing ours, saying the exact same thing as us. We couldn't beat Scotland and they couldn't beat Hungary. I know you just said that, but that's exactly what it is. Like, teams are going to be thinking that. I mean, even Portugal winning 3-0 against Hungary, it should really have been 0-0. The first goal deflected. Yeah. And then Hungary went to pot, and
I think we were really lucky in that.
Yeah, we all thought Hungary were going to be battered, didn't we? To be fair, and they've proven that. Well, I know they've got the best atmosphere of the tournament behind them, but still, they're doing really well. Belgium, what do you think about Belgium?
They're top of the group at the moment, so if we do finish second, we won't play them if they finish up. So I don't know if I want to avoid them. I think we could beat them. They're just an odd side. Like, they've got so many good players, but they don't seem to gel in like international tournaments.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit like England. They're just not ever going to quite.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree on that, Tom. I think you look at Hazard as well. He's not the player he used to be a few years ago. No. I know De Bruyne is, in relatively okay form, but he's not on, his best form of his life. It's just Lukaku, really, isn't it, that you've got to be looking out for, because he's just firing on all cylinders, isn't he?
And then the only other big team, if we were to meet at any point, is the Netherlands. They're pretty good. Memphis Depay scares me a bit. Depay against any of our defenders, but at the same time, it's not the strongest tournament, is it? It's not actually as strong as there's a few years ago.
There's no clear-cut winner, is there?
Yeah, a few years ago you'd have had Pirlo playing, Iniesta, Xavi. I know there's very good players now, but no one's clicked yet. So, yeah, that's why I'm feeling a little bit more confident. And obviously, we're not going to play the team of the tournament, Turkey, because they've just, I don't know what's happened to them, but I definitely didn't pick them. So we'll leave it at that. But we'll go for our lineup then, Holly. So me and George always roughly agree on a side and we put it out. Today, there's no hope. We've not agreed. Okay. So you're going to have to make the decision. Okay? We've gone 4-2-3-1. Right. We've gone Pickford in goal, which I think everyone would say.
Standard, yeah.
We've gone Walker at right back and Stones at centre back. Now, where we've argued is I've gone Mings. And George, who do you think?
Maguire. No, can I just give an argument? Yeah, right. We've played Scotland and Croatia. Croatia didn't offer anything. To be fair to Mings, he played well against Croatia. And he's done all right against Scotland, but not two great sides. I mean, I don't want to be harsh on Mings because he's obviously a good player, plays in the Prem, plays for Aston Villa, great side. But he has got a mistake in him every game. Every game he has a mistake in him.
So Stones.
There we go.
I agree with you. I personally would choose Maguire because when I watched Mings in the friendlies, he scares me badly. Like, it really scares me. Everything he does is kind of very rash. It's very kind of like bull in the china shop sort of vibe. And I think at a major tournament, you can't be having that from your centre backs. You need someone who's calm, composed, a bit like a kind of a John Terry sort of figure. And I know Maguire hasn't been in the greatest form maybe this season, but I don't know. I just feel more comfortable with him there.
I'm sure I've mentioned this on both previews before this, and I'm sure you've probably seen it. But it's when it's my favourite video of 2021 when Tyrone Mings clotheslined the Austria player off the ball. Like, that's kind of what that's the mistakes you're talking about. But for me,
don't even break a clothesline. It was like a Zidane headbutt.
Yeah,
it was awful.
No VAR. But what I'm thinking is, though, how can you split up a centre back pairing that haven't conceded yet and haven't really conceded any good chances? I know I would have Maguire over Mings, but I'd wait till the knockout stages. I would. Maguire.
I think it's a good.
Like it's a
Sorry, go on,
opportunity. sorry, I think it's a perfect opportunity to do it, because if you do it in the knockout
I know what you're saying.
Maguire makes a mistake, then everyone's gone, oh, Southgate, why did you change it? Whereas if you do it now, he's comfortable, he's got a game under his belt, that's it.
I know what you're saying.
What I was going to say. He's going to sharpen up in that game, and it's.
Would you rather have
in the tournament?
Would you rather have Mings or 75% fit Maguire?
Yeah, but he's fit now, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's not going to be sharp. He's not going to be sharp. He's got
to come back at one point.
They've got a guy that can score from the halfway line. Not watch him.
Maguire will just get his head on it.
No. Right, so we've agreed there. We've agreed on Maguire there then. Right, then we've got Shaw left back. I think Shaw, very good player. And he'll be fine. I don't want to see Trippier there again. And then the two defensive midfielders. Right, this is split again. I think you can't have Rice and Phillips. They're just too the same. They're just too slow. It just didn't work. Didn't work for me.
I'm not a big fan of Rice.
There we go. Neither am I. So that's Rice out of the team
I
then.
know that's controversial, but
I like Rice. I think he's quality out there. I think for me, I would keep it the same. I'm going to trump card Tom here and say, your defensive mid, you can't change him when they've not conceded a goal.
Are you joking?
No, I'm really joking. I'm joking.
You're joking.
No, I think Rice is quality. I think he does a lot of work, and we say it all the time. It just goes unnoticed because of the role that he plays. And I think give Phillips the freedom that he had in the Croatia game. He's a different player. Against Scotland, he was doing a lot of this sideways, backwards passing. It's just boring football. But give him that sort of freedom to express himself a little bit more. He's a completely different player.
I think you go Phillips, and then you put Mount in alongside him. I think Rice. The reason
behind the front three.
No, I think as a central midfielder, Mount and Phillips. And I think the reason we didn't see much of Rice, like you said, he does things unnoticed. That was in the Croatia game. The reason we didn't see much of him against Scotland is because we were rubbish. So for me, you've had Maguire. I'm saying it's Phillips and Mount, I think. And Holly's also said that Rice is terrible. So there we go. We've got it. We've got our midfield too. We're then saying Sancho.
Terrible.
Well, not great. Not great. I'll say terrible, but we're going there to Sancho. He has to start for me.
I just want to see him play.
Yeah. I mean, 36 goal involvements this season with assists and goals.
Even if he doesn't create something, their defence is going to think, like, I need to mark him, and then that draws players out of the game if they know it's like a Grealish kind of player. It draws players to him, lets other players be free and have more time. So even if he doesn't get all those involvements for the England team, he still is a distraction on the pitch. Still someone you watch.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's absolutely class. And like you said, George, there's a reason Man U will come in 70+ million to sign him. And Sterling's got a goal. Sterling scored. Wait, did you see in the Scotland game where he could pass it out wide to Reece James and he just kept the ball?
There's a video going around on Twitter, isn't there? I've seen.
The guy pointing.
Yeah. And he says he's better tactically than Southgate. I mean, it's true, isn't it? He literally runs forward, turns back, and the attack's gone. I mean, I it's not a must-win game, is it? Because I think England are through despite any result, really, barring a smashing. But I think England will be through. We then go to Grealish. Has to start in the centre, doesn't he? He has to. He has to start a game. I mean, he wasn't fantastic when he came on. He does.
Get him into the box. That's I'm not saying we can play for penalties, but he's that kind of player. He breaks into the box, people will try and take him down, and that actually creates opportunities for you. Or he scores.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw something as well.
He did make me laugh against Scotland though when he passed to the sub.
Yeah, he definitely did pass to the sub, didn't he?
Yeah.
That reminds me of one at Christmas where there was like a Vitality advert and there was a team playing in red and like Santa walked across the advertising board and someone passed it to him. I've seen people pass it to stewards as well when they're in like fluorescent kits. It's good.
Quality.
Foden. Holly, should Foden have come off against Scotland?
I before Grealish came on, and the commentators I think said, "Oh, Grealish is like warming up or getting his kit on," and I looked on Twitter and I saw someone say, "Any money swaps Foden for Grealish," but like
I think it was Notts County stats that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then he did, and I was like, oh, like any player on that pitch, don't take off Foden, like just don't take him off. And I you can't swap them. It's not like you don't swap them two players, you put them on together, and you create the magic they have together, but you don't take them off for each other.
No, it's I mean, I would love to see Grealish, Foden, and Sancho together. That would be absolutely class. And then up front we've gone Kane. I think, like you said, Holly's captain. You can't drop him unless he is in the worst form. You drop him, but you wouldn't start cavalrying over him.
If Grealish is on as well and he maybe picks up a penalty, I think Kane will be all over that, get him off the mark.
Yeah, and also Grealish is someone that's.
Sorry, you go.
Yes, so Grealish is someone that could make something for Kane. At the minute, there's no one quite making. There's Sterling running in circles. There's Foden getting bought off early, so I'd go. Yeah, that's why I'd go.
I think Kane really needs to score, just like you said, George, to just kind of get going, like to kick off, really. And I feel like if that doesn't come in the group stages, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, there's talk about him. There's been a transfer as well that is sort of taking his mind off it, which I don't know. You should be professional enough for that not to happen, I think.
Especially as the captain of England, like you know how important it is to kind of like the country and the nation, and your captain that should have just kind of switched off that all and just kind of left that to the side to deal with it later.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll go on to score predictions. I don't know if George is frozen. I'll go my prediction. I'm going England 1, Czech Republic 0.
Okay.
I think Kane will score. I think, like you said, if it doesn't happen in the group stage, it won't happen in the tournament. But I think England 1, Czech Republic 0. And I don't think it'll be a great game. I think both teams know that a draw will see them through. We're both on 4 points, I think.
Yeah.
I think we both know.
I'm just hoping it's a bit more exciting. I hope Southgate does go some of these changes, just sit through, and I hope we do see more than one goal. I kind of feel like it might be a maybe 2-0, 2-1 sort of thing. I think Czech Republic have looked quite good going forward, and they've got, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who scored the 2 goals the other day. I think he'll be hungry for it, especially to score against England, because that's kind of a win-win. It's kind of a bonus, something you can brag about. So I feel like it might be 2-0, 2-1 sort of vibe. I don't want us to concede, but
yeah, I can see it being tight in the middle, especially if they play Souček, the West Ham player. And then we play Phillips and Rice. It will just be a stalemate in the middle, I think. What's your prediction and your scorers then?
Okay, I'm going to go positive in that we don't concede. I'm saying 2-0 England.
Yeah.
I feel like if he starts Grealish, I feel like Grealish will either get an assist or score. But I can see Foden scoring if he starts. I could see him. I don't know why. I just got a feeling about him. I haven't got a good feeling about Kane unless it's a penalty or it's literally put on the plate for him. So I don't think he's going to create any chances on his own, which is worrying because he's captain. But
yeah, I think if England get out of the group stage without conceding, that would be massive. I think it would be because Italy have just done it, and we're talking about how good Italy are. If England can do it, then it is massive. I think George is joining us just in time to give his. Hello, where have you been? Oh, he's not having it, is he? So I'll get his prediction.
I don't know what happened there. My laptop just seemed to give up.
Go on then, George. Give us your prediction. I'll put it on the screen.
I've gone for 2-1 England. Grealish and Rice to score. I think it's going to be a tough game, I think we might struggle a little bit. I think Czech are a decent side. We've got a decent midfield, and we've shown against Scotland that we struggle with that. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah, I think if we sort of just said that while you were away a second ago, so it'll be difficult. But we'll have another preview if England get through. I mean, it is a disaster if England don't get through for some reason. But results today are sort of gone in their favour, I think. So we have no idea who the next preview will be against. We'll have guests with us again for that. Holly, thank you for joining us for this preview. It's been good to have you on. And thank you all for watching. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.